Welcome to Drop the Puck. We're here at the D-Side Leisure Centre again for a Moralee battle between the D-Side Dragons and the Solway Sharks. Ben, this looks like a tasty one on paper, but the betting man would say it looks like another whitewash.
Well, obviously, you know, we've got here today the defending Moralee champions in the Solway Sharks. So it will be a tough game for the Dragons, but, you know, it was only 24 hours removed from an 8-5 turnover from Hull. So when you go up against Hull, you're going to be a little bit battered and bruised. Give and take the fact they've got to travel as well down here to the Den. Bus legs could play into it. You know, you could end up with a tired Solway.
Well, interesting you should say that, because there does seem to be a little bit of a blip in their season. Solway, as you quite rightly pointed out, current Moralee champions, but they've only won 4 of their last 10 games and 2 of their last 5. So you've got to say to yourself, is this a team that deserves to be champions?
I think in the current state of the Moralee, you know, they've got the contention. If we look at the way the table's breaking down at the moment, you've got that breakaway 3 at the moment, you know, in the form of Sheffield, Telford and Hull. And then right behind chasing them are Solway. So they're not out of contention, but they don't want to fall into that chasing pack of the likes of Whitley and Solihull.
Well, of course, you've got a 9-point gap between Solway and the leading pack. But who are the players that we should be watching out for tonight?
So Solway have got players like Ian Bowie. Just checking, you know, obviously the stats very quickly. Bowie's played 29 games. He's got 21 goals to his name already. You know, the likes of Connor Henderson as well. Henderson, 27 games, 11 goals. But the key thing here is, you know, the guys have got up there 20 plus assists, so they're very tight, you know, passing the puck around, exploiting the options, making sure that they're feeding each other. But one of the notable mentions, obviously, for Solway there is Stephen Moore, 13 goals, 27 assists, 0 penalty minutes. So these guys can't get rattled, they don't get drawn into petty things, you know, they play the hockey and they get in, get out.
A very disciplined team. We know Solway can be like that. Of course, it's been a fault for the Dragons this season. It's cost them dearly.
Yeah, you know, a few times the Dragons have been stung.
Well, without further ado, I think it's time to go down to the ice, and it's now time to
drop the puck. And we can see the official centre ice there, Mr. Hamilton, getting ready to start this game as we get ready to drop the puck. And there it is, straight away. It's going to be a Solway Sharks win. Gary, the tail of the tape, obviously. The number 4 Solway Sharks going up against, unfortunately, the bottom dwellers, number 10 D-Side Dragons.
Yeah, we mentioned that in our intro. It's a shame the Dragons are where they are, but it's been a tough old season for them.
Shot comes in early. And Dragons opting to go with Jolly between the pipes in this first period. Shot comes in there, and that was Kerr. And again, going straight off the script that has been all season, the Dragons immediately on the back foot. It's going to be picked up centre ice and fed through. Spridgeon won't able to do anything. Chevrat picks it up. Shot comes in, it's deflected. Off Griffin, Jordan Griffin icing tonight for the Dragons. One of the multitude of players that were late signings into this season for the Dragons, along with the likes of Williams and Lovell. It's going to be Wainwright that clears that out. Just dumps it down. And we're going to get ourselves our first icing call of the night. Face off to the left of Dom Jolly with 3 minutes gone in this first. Picked up and won by the Dragons. This is skated out with pace. Shaw finds Kemp on loan from the Bulldogs. Comes out. Shot comes in.
No,
Griffin couldn't scoop it in. Solway have done enough. Some great signs of early pressure from the Dragons as they look to go again. Backhand! And Hepburn keeping that save percentage up there in the 90s. As Parsons dumps that in. Dragons retreat. Going to be picked up behind his own net now. Moore lays that puck off. Finds Spears. Spears takes that over. Wainwright shuts the door on Stephen Moore there. And Lovell into the corner. Murray in support to try and dig it out. They found Coftree. But it's the Dragons that are going to break now. Chipped in there by Lovell. Initial pass coming from Wainwright. The Dragons push that back in the corner. Murray plays it out to Coftree. Ben Coftree, late addition to this Solway side. One of the juniors stepping up in replace of Kyle Horn tonight. But the Dragons have managed to pinch it. And it's going to be Henderson, Scott Henderson skating round the Dragons and just calmly slots it to the side of Jolly.
Well, he picked that up quickly and came speeding down the left-hand side of the ice towards Jolly. Picked his spot, and as he closed in, slotted it top corner. And that is a 1-0 lead. It's now Dragons 0, Solway 1.
7:48 gone in this first. Face off to the left of Jolly, deep in the Dragon zone for the Sharks, but it's going to be the Dragons who come away with that with Kennedy. Kennedy lays it off, but it's pickpocketed. And now the Sharks in possession. Dangerous times. Takes it into Chavarat.
Oh, well saved.
And Marek Chavarat already establishing himself in this game tonight, putting himself everywhere, making sure he's feeding those pucks in. As Hutchinson tries to skate that in, goes backhand, it goes wide. And Henderson trying to skate in there and jump on that last minute. It goes back in. Fans on the shot, and it's Henderson there. Connor Henderson denies himself the opportunity, but he's found his teammate there. Shot comes in, and it's another goal for Scott Henderson.
Well, he picked that loose puck up, come across the face of goal, and calmly slots it to the right of the netminder, and takes Solway Sharks 2 points ahead now. It is Dragons 0, Solway 2.
Face off gets us back underway and immediately won by the Sharks. 8:33 gone in this first period. Goal scorer there is Scott Henderson again for the second time tonight, fed in there by Connor Henderson. And the Dragons already given warning signs. Parsons skates down this inside. Solway get a stick on that and turn it out with Bowie. Sharks playing a little bit of D today. Near side now, find Houston. Houston tries to pull it back for his man. At the blue, shot taken, but it's come off the skate of a Dragons player. They can't push it up to...
Dragons need to get it out of their zone.
Yeah, sure, trying to find Kemp. But Solway doing enough to put it back in. And once again, Dragons playing very defensive hockey. Shot in, and it's actually gone in.
My goodness.
Well, it happened so quick, I don't even think Jolly saw it.
Yeah, they fired that shot straight across the face of goal. It went straight past Jolly and deflected in somehow. And it's now Dragons 0, Solway 3.
Well, Gary, 11:49 on the clock, already 3 goals down, and the pressure surmounting aggressively from the Sharks.
Well, the Dragons defense have got to try and close down the likes of Connor Henderson, who's got some speed on him, manages to skate past his defender and allows him time to get that shot off. They need to tighten that defense up and close these lanes down for Solway.
Again, Solway in possession in the Dragon zone, behind the Dragon's net, trying to set something up. Quick goal! And he found his man back door. Jolly doesn't even see him. And it's another goal for the Solway Sharks.
Well, couldn't have gone an easier one than that. Man's just sitting there waiting for it, gets fed in, and he puts Solway Sharks 4 scores ahead. It's now Dragons 0, Solway Sharks 4.
Centre ice face off there is picked up and won by the Dragons. Gav Austin for the Dragons picks that up. Little bit of a deflection, just takes out from under his sweet spot in the stick there. And he's forced to turn back. Jones for the Dragons. Big stretch pass up, tries to find Chris Jones. Can't do it. Greaveson now in possession for the Dragons. Parry trying to apply the forecheck. Great deflection there. Parry tries to capitalise, but it's picked back up by the Sharks. 19:43 on the clock. Gone in the first. And the Dragons are just going to try and push this back into the zone and run the clock out as Hutchinson takes it behind his own net. And there's the buzzer.
Well, must say it's been it's kind of what we expected from the former champions here at the Solway Sharks tonight. They go into the break with a 4-0 lead over the Dragons here at the Den. Join us after this break and we'll bring you more of the action right here on Drop the Puck.
Welcome back to Drop the Puck Part 2 as we get ready to drop the puck here on the second period. And we do so, and again immediately it's a Solway Sharks win. Dragons push them straight back into their own zone. Puck out in front of the Dragons bench. And as we look round, there are no changes in between the sticks for either side. So Hepburn between the pipes for Solway, and Jolly still remains in net for the Dragons. As Moore skates that through. Goes to go round Griffin. Austin shuts the door, rings it round, picked up at the point. Put straight back in by Shavrat. Again, second bite of the cherry. And Parsons just going to reel that in. Loses his edge. Supported there by Griffin. Plays it off the boards, goes to skate into the foot race with Shavrat. Gets there fair so, backhands that to Kerr. Shaw plays it off the boards, Murray picks it up. Ross Murray trying to find a man to blue, does so, finds more 2-on-1 situation, shot in. Jolly pulls his head up and over, great save. Face off here to the right of Jolly. Picked up by the Dragons, Kennedy. Looked like he was going to clear that round, but just brings it back across. Finds Jones on the near side. Jones under pressure from Henderson. Henderson been all over the ice this first period, Gary.
Yeah, he's been a key player for them so far.
And now into this second period, what else has he got to offer, I should say? Or it's going to be Kennedy who grabs that possession for the Dragons. It's only gone to Hutchinson middle ice. Plays that over to Greaveson. Greaveson and Hutchinson just communicating amongst themselves, trying to draw those Dragons out, and they've got them really high up the ice here. Dragons obviously been told by Captain James Parsons in that period break, push, make sure you're pressuring and shutting down on the Sharks. As puck skated in, Jones tries to get it on front, he's got it!
It's in. And a well-constructed play there as Kennedy calmly skates down the ice, past 2 or 3 players, turns his back on goal and feeds the puck to Jones, who weaves it into that net past Colin Hepburn. And what can you say? The Dragons fans here are ecstatic. Dragons get on the score sheet. It's Dragons 1, Solway Sharks 4.
Face off to the left of Callum Hepburn in his own zone. Dragons win that. 2 minutes 12 gone on this second period already. Bennett is going to chase that round behind the net. He's got Coftree to contend with, but it's picked up by the Sharks. Sharks up to break out now, trying to catch Dragons out with that man short. Great defensive play though by Ryan Jones. Gets over there and shuts that play off. Austin now on the puck. Uses his open man. Great forecheck pressure coming there.
Well, the one mistake the Dragons have been making, especially in that first
Williams goes to find Bennett. Bennett, oh, nice shoot!
Oh,
and it's in for the 5-hole!
Oh my goodness, Owen Bennett gets on the score sheet. And the fans here have gone ecstatic. This is...
Well, it's certainly the second period the Dragons wanted. 2 very quick goals.
Well, that puck got fed across to Owen Bennett, and he was one-on-one with the keeper, calmly slotted it straight through that 5-hole. And as calm as you like, turns away to celebrate. Owen Bennett puts the Dragons 2 up, and it's now Dragons 2, Solway 4.
Face off here in the Dragon zone to the left of Dom Jolly. Going to be won and picked up very quickly by the Sharks. Sharks are going to want to reply to those 2 quick Dragons goals as they start rotating that puck around. Dragons pouncing straight on them. Shavrat open man at the point, puts it back in.
Well, the one thing I was trying to point out before, Ben, is that in that first period, the Dragons were guilty of just throwing the puck away clearing their end of the ice, and it was always falling into the path of a Solway Shark player, which meant that they were under pressure a lot in that first period.
Yeah, certainly looking to play the puck out a lot more in the second period already. Spears, though, capitalises on that mistake. Shot comes in, goes up and wide. Shaw's going to be there to receive the rebound, though, for the Dragons. Tries to find the big stretch pass. Was looking for Kemp.
They need to be careful of, though, Ben, is the speed of the likes of Connor Henderson. They'll catch him out if they're drawn out too far.
Puck skated onto by Chris Jones of the Dragons. Looks up, tries to use a man, finds a man far side. Up and down in front of the boards. Kennedy. He's just going to get a call there for coming straight onto the ice and touching the puck. And that appears to be a too many men call against the Dragons. So the Dragons receive a 2-minute penalty to the bench served by James Shaw for too many men on the ice.
And again, the Dragons suffer through a mistake.
Four minutes 18 gone in the second period now. First power play opportunity of the night falls to the Solway Sharks. Penalty served against the bench of the Dragons for too many men on the ice. Currently sitting that penalty is number 8 James Shaw for the Dragons. So for the next minute and 45 seconds, Dragons will be a man down. Solway. Skated on by Henderson. Scott Henderson. Finds a man skating in Hutchinson from the high slot. Jones has lost his stick. Henderson with the puck, far side. Parry tries to skate over there. Forces the dump and chase, Henderson. Pressure coming from Jones. Kennedy's over. 1:15 remaining in the penalty. Shot comes in. Jolly sees enough of it, but it's bobbled right in front of him, and he's had his bacon saved there by Kennedy. Hutchinson goes for the shot. You heard it hit off the post.
And they're sending the warning signs already.
Well, 57 seconds remain for the Dragons to weather the storm that is currently the Solway Sharks penalty unit.
And we say it every time, Ben. Can the Sharks smell the blood?
Well, great defensive play there from Jones as he dumps that all the way down. Forces Hepburn to pull that in. It's a great opportunity. The big court short in the change. Dragons.
Oh, well saved.
Jolly
my goodness.
Denies Bowie first time, but it's followed straight back up by Coulter.
Yeah, Bowie managed to pick that puck up and looked like he was one-on-one, dead set to score, but Jolly saved it, and then Mann was right behind to pounce up on that loose puck, sticks it in the net, and the Solway Sharks increase their lead to 3. It's now Dragons 2, Solway Sharks 5.
As we get the action underway after that Joe Coulter goal. So, Joe Coulter takes them another goal ahead, making it 5-2 to the Sharks here with 6 minutes gone in the second period. Dragons just having the fire taken out of them now after that fiery start. Austin dumps that in, chased down by Shaw. Sharks defenseman gets there first, finds Bowie. Bowie to Coulter. Coulter comes over, back.
Oh, it's in.
And it's some great team play between Houston and Coulter.
Well, they've slotted that puck around, passing it calmly to each other, and then he manages to feed that puck across the face of goal. And it's Coulter that slots it past the netminder for the Dragons. It's now Dragons 2, Solway Sharks 6.
Great pressure coming from the Sharks, and the Dragons at the moment able to answer every little bit of it. Loose puck. Austin knocks it forward. Fans gets it across the middle.
No.
Austin with a follow-up. Tries to wrap round.
Oh no,
Parsons,
it's not happening.
It's gone down.
And you can see from our camera there that the puck is sitting, well, he's just knocked it away. The puck is sitting right between the netminder's legs. Hadn't crossed the line. He'd done well, Hepburn, to stop that from going in.
Well, with 5 seconds left on the clock in this second period, the Dragons certainly setting out this stall and making the statement that come start the third, they're not down and out, they're still in this. So it's going to be an interesting period break coming up shortly. If you were Captain James Parsons, what are you going to be saying to your Dragons, Gary?
Well, keep it up, keep that pressure up. More of what they've been doing in this second part of this second period. I mean, come out and score the way they did so quickly, but they soaked up a lot of pressure from that Solway Sharks front line. 2 quick goals from Coulter as well, but if they can maintain this pressure and soak it up and then get a counter-attack in and get another goal, that'd be great.
Face off in the Sharks end is won by the Sharks. Put that straight down onto net. It's going to be gloved down by Jolly with 2 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, if they can come out in that third period, Ben, similar to the way they did in that second, get on the score sheet, it's going to bode well for the rest of the game, I think. It's a different score on the boards at the moment to what most people would have thought.
And the referee's given the signal to run the 2 seconds there with the clock. We're going to get ourselves to the end of the period there as the Sharks gather 2 goals as did the Dragons. It's a 4-goal period, 2 each. It's made for some interesting hockey.
Yeah, more of the same. But join us here after the break for more action here at D-side on Drop the Puck.
Mr. Hamilton assumes his position at centre ice as we get ready to start this third period. And the puck drops. Again, Solway win that face-off 3 for 3 tonight. And the Dragons are certainly going to want to come out again firing on all cylinders like they did at the beginning of that second period, Gary.
Well, Solway quickly pounced on him there, so I don't think they want to let him do that.
Trying to break away, and it's Parsons skates it up. Puck deflected off Wainwright, but it's found. Spears winds up.
That man that's wide open in that space there, they've got to be careful.
Tied up on the boards is Wainwright with Spears. Spears using his skate to trap that against the board. He's managed to dig it out. Moore in support, but Griffin's over. Shaw's there. Takes it from Moore's stick. Spears puts it back in. Finds Kemp on the break. Tries to go around Shavrat. He's done enough to dispossess him. And now back with the Solway defenseman. 1 minute 5 gone already in this third period. Solway just slowly easing that puck around, allowing the men to move, get in position as they start moving forward, coming out their own zone. Tries to push that up, but it's going to be jumped on by Richardson. Richardson gets into there first, tied in the corner with Greaveson. Trying to work it round Lovell, turns that back. It's going to be found by Jones. Jones uses the boards, tries to find Chris Jones. Well, and we got official's arms gone up. We're going to get a call. Dragons pulling the netminder, putting the extra man on, but it's going to be quickly jumped on by Solway.
Yeah, it looks like it's a penalty being called upon Greaveson there.
So, Joshua Greaveson going to the box. And he's going to 2 minutes there for a holding the stick penalty. That's going to give the Dragons power play opportunity early in this third period. Puck drops for the face-off. The Dragons' first power play of the night. Penalty assessed to Greaveson of the Sharks for holding the opponent's stick. Dragons, unfortunately, can't keep that in the zone. Forced out by Solway. Richardson looks up, chips it in for Lovell. Picked up by Henderson. Henderson for the Sharks, skids it all the way down, almost loses his edge. And now Kennedy for the Dragons, takes it on, goes round his man, takes a shot.
Oh.
It's off the shoulder of Hepburn. And Solway with the textbook clearance. 1 minute 17 remain in the power play opportunity, 2 minutes 30 gone in this third period.
Must admit the pace is a little softer than it was towards the end of that second period.
Jones does enough to put the puck in to the corner, but there was no man there for him. It's cleared out straight onto Jones' stick again. Just trying to hold up, make sure all his men are on side, but Coulter takes that back deeper into his own zone, trying to draw out those Dragons. They found Bowie on the high overlap. And now Coftree plays that over. It's chipped up off the plexi. Big clearance. 40 seconds left in the penalty. Jolly's just going to slow that down for his man to come back for. Dragons with the man advantage for the next 30 seconds still. Wainwright to Parsons. Back to Wainwright. Back to Parsons. Trying to skate it in. Leg pad seals out the hole. And now the Sharks push that up for Houston to chase down.
Well,
Griffin.
Sharks have done exceedingly well in this penalty kill.
Shaw now for the Dragons. Still 10 seconds remain. Knocked back for Shaw. Shaw tries to take it in. Tries to find a man in the middle.
Whoa.
Found by Parsons. Who tries to skate that all the way through. As the penalty expires, the referee's whistle goes. Grieveson enters back into the fray. But the net's off his moorings. Face off to the left of Jolly. 10 minutes, 39 gone in this third period.
Oh, and Moore's pounced on that.
Moore tries to find his man on the inside, which is Ross Murray.
And you can see what he's trying to do there, feed him in on that back door.
Quickly turned out by the Dragons. They're trying to desperately clear it out, but Solway do enough to keep it in. Moore's found Murray, high slot, takes a shot.
Oh,
off the leg pad of Jolly, and he's denied him.
Yeah, excellent save there by Jolly.
Again, second bite of the cherry, shot comes in.
Oh, it's
off the post.
Oh, my goodness.
And the siege of shots coming on to the net now from the Sharks. Dragons done enough to clear it down into the Shark zone. Picked up by Kemp. Kemp applying a heavy forecheck pressure. Shaw skates up as well. Kerr's forced into the cul-de-sac. 11:38 gone in this third and final period. And again, game just seems to have bumped up that little notch in pace.
Oh, and again.
Jarvat keeps it onside. Puts it back in. It's found. Jones at the point from Parry. Tries to go far side and find Lovell. Lovell knocks it back across to Parry.
Oh, my goodness. There was
Couldn't
no
get a
one
stick there. Jones again.
And the Dragons can't miss opportunities like this.
Big head out in front of the Solway
Very
bench.
few excursions they're having into the Solway end, and they can't capitalise on shots like that.
Dragons still need to claw those 4 goals back to bring themselves back into this game. 12 minutes 18 gone in this third period. They're leaving a steeper mountain for themselves to climb the further it goes in. Now, Kennedy for the Dragons, takes it around the back of his own net. Oh. Forced to use his defensiveman Richardson.
There's 3 Sharks players there ready to pounce on.
And the heavy forecheck, trying to capitalise on any mistakes. Lovell tries to use the board, but it just gets away from him. And Hutchinson's now going to get the puck behind his own net. Parry applying a forecheck there. Heavy pressure coming from both sides. Forced to knock the puck on. Foot race between Chad Wynn. Nice hit on the boards. Found Bennett. Owen Bennett with a goal to his name tonight.
Oh, just too far.
The puck picked up by Richardson. Knocks it on for Chad Wynn. Put straight back down. It's going to be Henderson again. Takes the shot and gloved out the air by Jolly. 14-16 left in this third period. 14-16 yet gone. Sorry, I should say. As Austin uses the board to clear that out. Forces Solway back into centre ice. Tonar skates that in. Jones ties up with Tonar on the boards. Strun Tonar that comes out with that. Finds Moore. Moore.
Oh my goodness.
Tried to do too much. And he's actually put it through the legs of Jolly and wide. And he'll be kicking himself for that.
That was an opportunity he missed.
Moore puts it back. Man just outside the paint. Tries to turn on the dime. Can't. It's the Dragons to gain that back. Shaw trying to reel that one in. 14 57 now gone on this clock. Final 5 minutes of this third period. Dragons caught in their own zone, trying to dig it out. Right, Kennedy now, Ross Kennedy tries to clear it through the zone, but it's come off the skate of Spears, put back in. Murray jumps on that, turned back around again by the Dragons with Jones, Chris Jones. Skates it in, takes a shot and it's in!
Well, what can I say? Jones picks that up, skates across the blue line, takes it across to the right-hand side to the left of the keeper, and then calmly slots it straight into the net. For the third goal tonight for the Dragons, it's now Dragons 3, Solway 6. It's a little late in the season for the Dragons, but this has certainly put a bit of a dent in Solway's pressure on that leading pack of 3.
Certainly. As you know, we mentioned it at the start of the show, shot comes in backhand again, frozen by Jolly. There's a chasing pack and a breakaway pack of 3 on the Moralee at the moment. You know, you've got the breakaway of Telford there and Hull. You know, Solway in that mid-chasing pack along with the likes of Solihull. And the Dragons quite fair, you know, obviously rooting up the table at the bottom there.
Yeah, the thing is, though, a result like this, 6-3 against a team like Solway, it's good for the Dragons, but Solway have got to go away from this and thinking...
And it's going to be Kemp, picks up on the loose opportunity, sends that up and over. We're into the final 10 seconds.
Yeah, Solway have got to be...
Solway break with a 3-on-2.
Oh, no.
What shot?
Oh, he's
put it up and over. It's Henderson.
And that's
and
it.
There's the buzzer. There's the game.
Well, as we were saying there, although it was a win for Solway, they've come away with the victors here from the Den. Dragons 3, Solway 6. They're going to be a little bit disappointed with their performance tonight. They should be playing a lot better, and if they need to keep up and maintain that pressure on that lead pack of 3, they've got to be coming away with better results than this. In the meantime, we're going to go between the posts down the locker room, and we're going to get the views of the teams and the coaches. Join us after this break here on Drop the Puck.
And with head coach of the D-side Dragons, Gary Shaw. Gary, an interesting performance put out there by the Dragons tonight. Obviously, you didn't come away with the points, but really impressive.
Yeah, due to the fact what we've been doing in training and that, and the kids, the players are starting to work hard. They go out every shift, and we're quite impressed with what they're doing at the moment.
So you mentioned obviously training there, the midweek training sessions. Anything specifically being worked on?
Supporting the puck carrier is a big thing, what I'm trying to do with them. And tonight we've seen the players getting the support, moving into space to receive the puck and really coming low in the zone and breaking out as a squad, not just as a single player. And then, so the support is always there.
Now, quickly looking back throughout the game, that first period there, 4 goals down, and then that second period immediately came out, 2 quick goals in succession. What was said to change the tide?
Well, we had a little bit of a disagreement by me, which is just what needed to be said. And we just told them to stay with the players. So we skate with the players. It doesn't matter if the player is a winger and he goes behind the net. He needs to go with the player. So you stay with your man and play the puck, and then break out as a squad. And we did it really well, to be fair, in the second period.
Well, obviously that second period you did manage to tie up 2 goals apiece, and then finally that third period taking it 1-0 to yourselves. And surely that's his momentum now the Dragons have got to build on.
Yeah, if they can build on the momentum we've got now and have the belief in what they did tonight, we should get some decent results against teams that was coming up. So we just got to again build on what we've been doing, and we should be happy.
Now a quick look ahead to the rest of the season. What is it now the Dragons are going to want to try and achieve out of this?
I think what we want to try and do is keep the scores low, as we did tonight, and just win a period or 2, and then just make the fans happy as well, the way they played. And I think tonight's performance, the fans went home really happy with what they did.
Brilliant. Well, Gary, we do wish you luck for the rest of the season. We'll catch you again soon.
Okay, thank you very much. See you soon.
And with Struan Tonnar, captain of the Solway Sharks. Struan, an impressive performance tonight there.
We got the job done, I think, is the one thing we take from it. By our standards, we weren't there tonight. We got a good lead in the first, and then we took the foot off the gas. I mean, credit to D-side, came all night, and we knew they would every shift, no matter what the scoreline was. They've had tough results, but we know they keep skating. But by our standards, we're disappointed. We should have been coming a lot harder, and to lose the last period and draw the second, we're disappointed with that. But credit to D-side.
Now, a couple of guys in the lines there, the likes of Ian Bowie, Joe Coulter, and a couple of the others already up there for points this season as individual players. But as a team, you can see you're working really well with the assists, always a man behind there to jump on the loose puck. Is this the sort of thing that's getting constantly worked on on the practice?
Yeah, constantly we're talking about staying tight with each other. You can't play the game spreading the puck across and being on your own. You need that support, so when they come in, they take the puck. We've got somebody to clean it up. It's just, we've always drilled into us right from pre-season, and it's what we're trying to take into the post-game as well. Now,
tough weekend, obviously. We faced Hull, faced the Dragons. You've lost the points on one, come out with the points on the other. What's going to be the look ahead now for the Sharks?
We face Hull on Sunday next week. We've got to get through Bellingham on Saturday, so they'll be tough. They can score goals. We know defensively they're not as strong as some other teams, so if we can put them in their own zone and keep turning them, we'll feel comfortable enough with them. And then rolling into Hull on Sunday, one of the hardest places to go, and we need to bring our A game. We can't travel and play like we did tonight next week, because we will be embarrassed. That Hull are a very good team, and we need to be skating for a full 60 minutes.
Now, obviously, one of the goals for the Sharks team there will be the playoffs, sustaining that Final Four. Yourself personally, though, what are you hoping to achieve out of this season?
Personally, I'm here to lift silverware with the boys. We know we're not going to win the league now. I don't think mathematically it's possible. The cup we were put out of, but playoffs is still up for grabs, and we don't see EPL teams in front of us. We see teams in the same league. They're there to be taken. We've proved that against Telford away. We've skated with Sheffield most of the season. Spells we get Hull, we've skated with them, so we're confident we can take anybody in this league.
Well, Stroman, we wish you luck for the rest of the season. Catch you again.
Cool. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
And with Owen Bennett of the D-side Dragons. Owen, an impressive performance there by yourself and the guys tonight.
Yeah, it was a good game today. Like the vibe in the change room feels a lot better today.
Now, came out the second period, and obviously it's an outstanding moment for yourself there as you finally managed to get on the score sheet. How does that make you feel?
I was so cool. I was joking at the beginning of the game like I was going to get one, and I got one. So happy days.
Would you say that's a personal goal ticked off for the season?
Yeah, that's one ticked off. Plenty more to go now.
Now, looking for the rest of the season, what are your aims to get out of this?
We've only got a few games left now, so we're just going to try our best. And it's all about building for next year now, most likely. So we'll get everybody on the ice, get a couple of things going, and then see what we can do.
Owen, we'll catch you soon, and thanks very much.
Cheers, man. See you later.
Captain of the D-side Dragons, James Parsons. James, an impressive performance put out there by the Dragons tonight, despite the loss.
Well, for a long time now, we've been getting loads of goals thrown past us. So tonight, everyone was there, played well, and we had lads to turn up tonight. Usually we've been going 2 lines, so tonight we had 3 lines, and I felt like we all done well. Keep our heads high tonight. So.
Well, breaking the game down very quickly. First period there, obviously you went down 4-0. Second period was a 2-2 period, and then finally winning that third period 1-0. Showed progression and improvement.
Yeah, you can take stuff out of it. It's still a loss, but we've got to look at the positives from it, and we've got 2 games next week, and hopefully we can take it into that.
Now, it is late in the season, I must admit. Finding the form now, what are the Dragons going to have to do to maintain this pressure and this spell they've built into?
Well, keeping as many lads down each game as we can. Lads turning up for training. We've struggled for numbers this year, and so hopefully the lads keep coming now. We'll carry on.
Excellent. Well, James, we wish you luck for the rest of the season. We'll catch you again soon.
Thanks.
Well, what a result. Definitely not what I would have predicted. I certainly, with the way things have been going for the Dragons of late, certainly would have thought it would have been double figures with a team like Solway. As we said at the start, things haven't been going so well for them, but still came out 6-3 victors tonight.
Yeah, certainly. Dragons stepped the game up tonight, something rotten, especially that second period. Looked like a whole different Dragons side there. I mean, looking at when I spoke about it in the interviews there with the coaches and players, if we look at that game broken down, that first period for the Dragons wasn't the greatest, unfortunately. You know, they kind of played along with the script that they've been playing to all season. 4 goals down, you know, the likes of Bowie and that there already. Moore skating around the ice, Henderson all over the ice, Connor Henderson and Scott Henderson, both of them. And Solway pretty much had the run of the rink. And, you know, the Dragons needed to do something. And whatever was said in that locker room, you know, in the first period break, certainly worked.
Well, of course, that second period, Dragons came out firing, all guns blazing, 2 excellent goals, set the place on fire because the fans were really behind them. And then just as quick as they scored, Solway straight back in it again.
Yeah, so obviously Chris Jones bagging himself one, Owen Bennett well made up to bag himself one there, much like to the fans as well. And you know, that showed the Dragons were off to a good start, brought it back there 4-2. We thought, hey up, we've got a game in our hands. And then Joe Coulter, you know, trying to put the game to bed quite quick. 2 successive goals very quickly again. But a really, you know, for a neutral, a really interesting period of hockey. It was end-to-end action, very clean, you know, first penalty, you know, finally cropped up there late into that second period. You know, power play opportunity struck up on by the Solway Sharks there, you know, capitalising on that. But otherwise, you know, the remaining power plays which we did see, really textbook from both penalty kill units.
Of course, the third period, historically has been really bad for the Dragons. They've always suffered badly and conceded a lot more goals. Today, a different story. They come out 1-0 victors in that third period.
Yeah, Chris Jones obviously getting the only goal of that period. And what a period it was. You know, the Dragons skated to the very last buzzer there. They took the game to Solway and you know, we had Coach Rupp there. That was not what Solway were expecting. They got complacent, they got sloppy. You could see, you know, they'd stepped down a gear. I think they thought, you know, the game's in the bag. Playing, you know, the Dragons are playing for pride, and that's not the case. All the Dragons play to that final buzzer. They want to try and get everything out of this Moralee season they can.
Well, of course, we already pointed it out. They were currently sitting in 4th going into this, chasing that leading pack of 3, Telford, Hull, and of course they've said they've got to go back to Hull again. It's not going to be an easy ride for Solway.
Certainly not. You know, you had tough running to the end of the season, but you know, prolonged hockey in the form of playoffs, that's what they're gunning for. They want silverware of some sort this season, and it's doable for them. They just need to, you know, tighten up a few things and realise that when you roll up at somewhere like the Den, you're rolling up for a game of hockey, not just to skate out.
Yeah, a lot of teams consider coming here a foregone conclusion, but the D side are fighting until the bitter end, even though they're sitting at the bottom of the Moralee Conference. And I'm sure Gary Shaw's happy with their performance tonight.
Yeah, you know, you heard it in the interview there. He's impressed with the improvements they've made and more for the future.
Well, you can catch us here every week on Job the Puck for more NIHL ice hockey action. It's been Ben Lee, I've been Gary Lee.